Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Nick Armenis, and in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about what I see stopping e-commerce stores from scaling, particularly with Google Ads, but a lot of it will be general to scaling. So in my agency, it's a PPC focused agency, but for e-commerce and scaling. So I really only focus on growth and scaling. Occasionally would work with some smaller businesses, but they need to show a lot of potential. And it's purely just because it's what I enjoy, to be honest, and it's what I've been able to get the best results for people. So what I normally will see with people when they're trying to scale is they're quite often they don't have a clear strategy for Google within their business, right? They're getting some sales, but they don't really know how Google works. And I recently released a video on how to come up with a strategy for any business. So if you're interested in that, please watch it. But knowing how to come up with a strategy for Google to best utilize what you're doing is vitally important. So first of all, you need to be ready to scale. Like, scaling doesn't just go, hey, I've got a business, I'm ready to scale, I've decided. You need to have a proven business model that's realistically, like, depending on your country, but you need to be doing, 50, 100K per month before it's even really tested. And even then, it's like, you're still in America, that's very, very small numbers. In Australia, it's probably okay. But even then, it's, you still don't 100% have a proven model even at those numbers. It's not to discourage you from doing it, but it's to go, hey, maybe you need to slow down and assess everything and then scale slowly. My approach is a slow and steady scale. And I think that's why a lot of people fail is, they don't have the strategy for Google because they don't really understand exactly how it works. They're taking like a meta Facebook ads mindset into Google, and it's totally different. And they also just think, hey, it just gets bottom of funnel people, it just gets brand, it doesn't get much else. And it's a myth. It's just people don't understand how to use them properly. Now, in terms of, okay, how do you slow and steady scale? The easiest way is if you have a campaign with all your products in Google, and it might be a PMax or a shopping campaign if you're an e-commerce business. If you have that, just stick to that in the early stages and then have a branded search. I realistically would not want you to have much more than that early on, because you can scale to really, really good numbers just with a single standard shopping or a single PMax campaign. And I know people are going to give me flack, and it's just, I know this because I do it every single day, and I guarantee you I could come into your account with 50 campaigns or 10 campaigns and outperform it very quickly by doing this. I don't know the exact reason, but it's just my experience of when you have more products in a single campaign, the return on ad spend is generally higher, and I find it much easier to scale. Now, what you will need to do eventually is you'll have all these products not being seen. You might need another zombie SKU campaign to address those. You might even chuck in a best sellers campaign or something like that. You might want to go heavier on remarketing and adding some of those. And then you'll eventually want to expand out into some search text campaigns. And then the other ones like YouTube, demand gen and stuff, you will have a bit of a budget too. But know that most of them will have a lower return on ad spend than shopping. And I think that's what puts people off a lot. But quite often, if you dry up shopping and that, which, to be honest, it takes a long time to do that if you know what you're doing, especially if you're able to bid for new customers, if you're able to force it to see more products, if you're able to force it to spend more. A lot of my approach is forcing the algorithm to spend more profitably. A lot of the time people find that they cannot spend more on Google Ads. So that's a big reason that people stop scaling, is they just physically cannot spend any more money on Google. They'll put the budget up and Google just will not spend it, which is very unusual for an ads business, right? Like, why am I putting my budget up and it's not spending? A lot of the time it's because you don't know how to force it to spend more, and you need to train it to force it to find more and more customers, force it to show more and more products for more and more search terms. Now, not everyone has this issue. Other people have the issue of they're spending and they're not profitable. You need to know how to go in and make a campaign profitable. The easiest way to do it is to add a target return on ad spend that is slightly higher than what you're currently getting. This will force it to be a bit more profitable. Or if you don't have a target return on ad spend, then put one in. If you put one in, it's going to tell Google, hey, you need to be more profitable. This is only if you're not profitable, right? And this is for PMax and standard shopping. Adding that in can really, really help. And then maybe you've increased the budgets too quickly. A lot of people are just simply increasing budgets way too quickly, And this forces Google to go, hey, I'm gonna spend all this money really, really quickly on all these things and not know if they're gonna work. Whereas if you do it slowly, it starts to like expand out. So it's focusing on these search terms, then it's going a bit broader and broader and broader and broader. So, you know, you might be selling Nike men's running shoes. It initially might go very specific with a color and model, and then it might just go Nike running shoes, then shoes, then running, and then problems. I'm having problems with my feet in running, all things like that. Footwear, clothing, you keep going further up. And that's a lot of the time why your cost per click, cost per conversion goes up, because you're bidding more and more and more for the same search terms, and you're going, Google, I want more, I'm bidding more. Google, I want more, I'm bidding more. And the cost per conversion is coming up because you're just going for broader search terms. You can't expect those less specific, broader terms to convert as well as your really hot, warm search terms. But the speed and the number of changes is so important. So if you're doing too many too often, it is really going to affect your campaign performance, and that's in lead gen or shopping. But this is the biggest obstacle to stopping scaling. The other one that's not related to Google is actually cash flow. I find what happens a lot of the time is people get excited, they push the budgets up a bit too fast and a bit too far, and without kind of removing any of the stuff that's not selling too well, without focusing on profit, because you know some e-commerce businesses just want to focus on profit, and you can actually input profit into the algorithm and tell it to optimize for profit now. You normally need to request it in Australia. I think in America that might be available now, but if not, if you're in Australia, I think you can actually request it now. For most people, I can request it to have a bid on profit on ad spend, POS, how would you say it? Or you could simply just remove any products that aren't very profitable or put them in another campaign with a higher return TROAS, and have everything else in another one. There's lots of ways to cut it. Like segmentation is very important in scaling, you know, particularly when you're focusing on ROAS and profit, and then having a good optimization system in place. So knowing these things will really help you on your road to scaling. If you do need some help scaling, I'm happy for you to apply below, and I'll have a look at your account and we'll see if we can work together. But if not, lots of resources on here and lots of things that I can do to assist you in that journey. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.